Hey everyone, good Saturday morning. I am meteorologist Johnny Lively, and we are going to do our Saturday morning update. This is sponsored by HB Neal Construction. We had a couple of showers really along the coastal regions from Gilchrist all the way into Cameron Parish. That has moved off to the northeast. But if we look a little bit further south down to the Gulf, we can see that there is some more showers and thunderstorms. And we're continuing to see that flow out of the south, and that's why we'll have 30 to 40% coverage later today. So not much going on across the state of Texas and Louisiana, but we are seeing that showers and moisture really coming from the Gulf, pushing further inland. Temperatures across the region are in the 70s and 80-degree mark. If you look down towards the coast, they're already at 80 degrees, Galveston at 85. The further north you go, like Woodville, Jasper, and Newton, they're at 75 to 73 degrees. Houston at 80 degrees. In Beaumont, we're at 74, and Lake Charles, 76. Now, today, we still have that moisture content, but if we get into Sunday and Monday, start noticing we have a lot of orange and yellow coming in. That is dry air from that high pressure ridge that's building in. But notice all of that moisture we've been dealing with goes off into the east coast, right? And then does a loop back into our region. That's because that high pressure ridge really builds back into the north. The door is open further south, so that moisture can once again come back into our area as we get into Thursday and Friday this upcoming week. So we'll dry out Sunday afternoon, Monday and Tuesday, and pretty much the majority of Wednesday. But by the time we get into Thursday and Friday, rain coverage definitely will be increasing. That's that area where that spin that we were dealing with. It is now getting more into the Brazos Valley region. Not much rain going on there, but we're going to watch this high pressure ridge really kind of start building into our area. And then notice as we start getting into Tuesday and then on Wednesday, that ridge moves further to the north and that flow starts changing in our area, more coming out of the east, bringing in that moisture. And so we're going to have a pretty good flow of deep tropical moisture once again getting into our region. Today, we're looking at some isolated showers and storms really into the morning time hours, but as we get into the afternoon, this will start going further inland from areas like Huntsville, all the way into the woodlands and even into the lakes region. So if you're out on Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, this is looking like a pretty nice day, but just understand and know that there can be some isolated to scattered storms later today. So if you're out on the boat, keep your radar handy because you could have a storm that passes through your region if you're out on the water. So just keep that in mind. You definitely want to kind of be close by. Lows today will be into the low to mid 90s, really more off to the northwest where they can get a little bit closer to the mid 90s. But across the region, we're into the low 90s and actually getting further east into parts of Abbeville and Jennings, and you see Pelican Island, they'll be into the upper 80s. So for the month of July, not too bad. Upper 80s and low 90s. Heat index won't be, too bad as well. Anywhere from 99 degrees up to 102, 103 degrees. As we see the low temperatures tonight will be anywhere from the mid to upper 70s, and then down towards the coast will be into the 80s. Lakes region, you'll be into the low 70s. That's really nice if you're up there in the lakes. Watching the tropics, nothing going on into the Gulf and the Caribbean, but we actually do have an area that's what we call in the eastern main development region. This has a low chance of developing really in a short term. It might try to do something in the short term before it gets to these, the Leeward Islands, but by the time it gets closer to the Leeward Islands, and by the time it gets into the Caribbean, there's too much wind shear, too much dry air for this to do anything. So this is more of a short-term thing. We'll keep an eye on it, but there's just too much dry air and shear for this to actually do anything. Next 7 days here in Southeast Texas, we have 30% coverage today. Lingering shower on Sunday, that's really about it. But the biggest thing Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and even Wednesday as well, is going to be that drying trend. But Thursday and Friday, that moisture returns into our area. Same song and dance here in Southwest Louisiana. We've got a drying trend Sunday all the way through Wednesday, but that deep tropical moisture comes back into our area. So we'll warm up the middle of the week, Monday through Wednesday, but as we have that deep tropical moisture, cloud cover, and rain come back, temperatures will drop down into the low 90s once again. You guys have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful weekend. We'll have more updates throughout the day today, but thank y'all for watching. Have a good weekend.